your brain on air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
Zure garuna entzuten ari zara zuzenean, programa laster hasiko da, gozatu.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to your Brain on Air. I am your host, Ollie Vogt Larson, and your father and I have been talking. You are not allowed to play Mario Kart or go skateboarding for 3 weeks. And no TV. We're hopping into the latest with today's and sometimes tomorrow's headlines, so instead of lollygagging, why don't we just hop right into it? New York City mayoral race heats up as Cuomo claims this is an election of capitalism versus socialism. Good morning, New York. It's October 22nd, 2025, and this is your daily update on the race for City Hall. With just 2 weeks until the election on November 4th, the New York City mayoral contest is heating up like a subway platform in July. We're taking a three-way showdown between Democratic nominees Zohran Mamdani, Independent Andrew Cuomo, and Republican Curtis Sliwa. Incumbent Eric Adams suspended his re-election bid last month, so honestly, guys, we are not even going to worry about him. Amid scandals, low approval rating, but his name does still linger on the ballot if you want to, as an independent, if you want to write, I don't know, if you feel like taking a real chance. It's like voting for Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. You know what I mean? It's she's got a shot if you want to try. Though he's not campaigning and the polls show him scraping single digits, let's break down the other main candidates because their big ideas and their poll data is exactly what I want to cover here. First is the front runner. Folks, Zohran Mamdani. A lot of people probably have heard about this from their uncle or their grandfather who hates socialism because, you know what I mean? He's a self-proclaimed democratic socialist. He believes in the practice of collecting the money via your taxes and redispersing it through to the people who don't work as hard as you. That's basically, I'm sorry to say it, that's a little bit towards what his policies are leaning towards. The 33-year-old state assemblyman from Queens and the proud democratic socialist was born in Uganda to Indian parents. Mamdani is the son of Colombian professor and Oscar-nominated filmmaker. He is a hip-hop artist turned housing counselor who upset the odds by winning the June Democratic primary with 56 in the final ranked choice round, beating Cuomo by 12 points. His campaign is all about affordability in the city, which I'm just going to say it, if you're still in that city looking for affordability, what? What are you talking about? Go to literally any other city. There's nothing in that city. A lot of people describe it as corporate hellscape. They describe it as the France effect with Paris, where people go here and they expect so much and they're severely disappointed. That's exactly what I hear from most people who end up going to New York is severe disappointment. The fact that people want to live there continues to shock me. His campaign and whatnot is focusing, his key policies are on a rent freeze, on stabilized apartments to keep families from getting priced out, free city buses to slash transit costs and cut traffic. And he will come out and tell you, look, we've done free city buses and homeless people didn't end up hanging out and shitting on them. That's not backed up by the videos that I've seen on social media, buddy. I'm sorry, you can tell me as many statistics as possible, but when I'm hearing from the people that live in a city where this type of thing has been practiced, that they're not a big fan of just random vagrants who can't afford to ride the bus, riding the bus with them. I'm sorry, if somebody can't even afford to ride a bus with me, I don't feel comfortable with that person. They're clearly a vagrant to society. They're an untethered human being that, just like that Ukrainian woman, you're going to get stabbed in the neck. This guy's going to be sitting behind you and he's going to stab you in the neck 30 times. It's not even a lie. This is just, I'm sorry. Anyways, free city buses, as we've said, and a $30 minimum wage by 2030. Never. Even if he claims to be as revolutionary as he is, that'll never happen. I'm sorry to say that. On safety, he created a Department of Community Safety, boosting mental health crisis teams, gun violence protection, and hate crime funding by 800%. No more defund the police talk from his early days. Now it's all about smarter, community-rooted responses. For immigrants, universal legal aid in detention cases. For LGBTQ plus folks, an office of the LGBTQ plus IA, it's LGBTQ, or LGBT affairs as a sanctuary hub. He'd fund it with 2% of city income tax hike on millionaires and by pushing Albany for higher corporate rates. Critics call it a pie in the sky socialism. Fans say it's a bold relief for the working stiffs. I'm going to be real with you here. A lot of these practices that he's putting forth has been tried in other cities. These types of free public transport things have been tested before, especially on the West Coast. If you want to talk about success rates, and I'm more inclined to agree with the pie in the sky theory. I know as someone who's flirted with the idea of democratic socialism in his younger years, I totally see the appeal of the idea that we're gonna just tax the rich even more, even though admittedly the rich almost pay for everything in this country. If you don't know that, look it up. It's a fact. They pay more percentage wise of their income than any other bracket in the entire country. And then you'll still have people going, it's evil that millionaires still exist. It's like, okay, if you want to rob people as much as you can because you don't believe in working hard and making it your own way in the world, sure, absolutely. I understand that mental perspective. That's exactly what led me to socialism when I was first into it. I was just this, a teenager who's like, I don't want to work hard, so I want everybody else to pay for me. And that's what socialism appeals to. It's a bracket of people who don't understand that the world, what entitles them to someone else's work. What entitles you to someone else's hard labor? I never understood people who are like, oh yeah, people around the world are really eager to get me into a house. People really care about me to the point where they want me to be in a house. I'm sorry to say it, nobody cares about you enough to get you into the situation that you want to get yourself in. I'm sorry, that's a lot of what socialism is. It's people that they sit in a group together and they go, we all can't afford houses. Why don't we just make everybody else buy us some? Listen. He's in the lead right now, so no matter what I say, he's still probably going to win. Then there's Andrew Cuomo, 67-year-old former governor, makes his comeback 4 years after resigning amid that's not fun. Sexual harassment allegations. He denies wrongdoing, and a recent DOJ settlement cleared the air somewhat. Cuomo dominated early primary polls, but crashed out with 44% and then jumped to the fight and deliver independent line. He's pitching himself as the experienced fixer. Decades in Albany, HUD security under Clinton, and the guy who legalized same-sex marriage here. Well, you also killed a lot of old people during COVID, but that's perfectly fine. Leadership, whatever that book he put out that has him looking all serious on the front. Policy-wise, he's a pragmatic centrist in the sense where he's tough on crime with more cops, sure, if we tried that in the city before and it didn't really work that great. Anyways, bail reform tweaks, income caps on rent stabilized tenants up to free up units for the truly needy. Excuse me, that's a better way to read it. To free up units, that's what he wants to do with the income caps on the rent stabilized tenants. Fighting inflation through budget smarts, not big spends, and navigating Trump-era feds with a velvet glove. Vowing to work hard with DC without selling them out. On housing, he'd prioritize NYC HA fixes and allow denser builds for migrants, streamlined shelters with work requirements, backed by real estate bigwigs and moderates. He's wooing Adams's old base of black and outer borough voters, but his scandals and Trump ties are, I'm not gonna lie, they're probably gonna be the thing that pulls him down quite a bit. NYC has a bad taste in their mouth the last time this man was sitting in a seat of power. He killed a bunch of people and then wrote a book about how great he was. So I'm not sure that he's our guy. That's why, listen folks, if you want a winner, I think this guy's your guy. Rounding out the field, Curtis Sliwa. Folks, the 71-year-old Guardian Angels founder and WABC radio host, who's the GOP nominee, is running after running unopposed in that area. He lost to Big Adams, what's his name? The Big Adams, who's stepping down now in 2021, but he did not quit. Critics from his radio boss to the New York Post want him to bow out and boost Cuomo. Sliwa's brand is a street-level grit vibe. Anti-migrant shelters, no-kill animal pounds as his protect animals line gimmick, which sure, that's great. I'm in favor of no-kill shelters. That's what the Humane Society does. It's great. And flooding subways with Guardian Angels patrols. On policy, he's conservative, red meat, slashes taxes, crack down on hate crimes, and fair beaters, build more housing with common sense zoning, and treat Trump like an ally, not an enemy. He's polling in the high teens, mostly with Republicans, in a 7-1 Democratic city, but vows he will stay until the end. Folks, the polls are not, like, I think that, if there's a move here, yeah, I think that the way that Cuomo put it, it is, socialism versus capitalism. He is an old school capitalist. He's also an old school pussy grabber, but that's what he is. I'm going to be honest with you. Sliwa, I saw the video of him on TikTok. If you haven't been on TikTok as of late, this guy wears a red beret, and I'm not even going to lie. I liked it. I like the vibe. I like the thing he's serving. I will say this. Buying a homeless woman, what is the thing that's wrapped in tinfoil that they sell in the subways? It's like they chop up the meat with the onions, whatever. He bought a woman like a euro or something like that, and he gives it to her, but he censors her out. It's this homeless black woman sitting in a New York subway, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna give you this food, and then you're gonna get up and get a job, right?" And she's like, It's a curious way to campaign yourself, that you're helping New Yorkers by buying them, I don't know, a Taylor ham and egg. You know what I mean? Whatever. Now the polls, it's Mamdani's race to lose, guys. Mamdani, according to the latest polls, is at 46% among likely voters. Cuomo's at 33%. Sliwa's at 15%. Surveys last week, Mamdani's also at 43%, Cuomo 29%, and Sliwa 19% from the AARP/Gotham survey. But here's the wrinkle. If Sliwa drops due to the pressure mounting, it's a nail biter then, because Mamdani would jump to 51, Cuomo to 49. That would be an essential head-to-head race. Am I saying that I want this fella to drop out? Absolutely not. I like his energy, and I don't live in that city, so I really don't care who wins. I'm not going to lie to you. I care about Minneapolis's mayoral election. I want the pseudo-Republican Jacob Fry to stay elected because I trust him more than a lot of the other people on that stage. I'm not even going to lie to you. Except for the Reverend. The Reverend might have some decent ideas. Sure. He's another one where I would rank him. But otherwise, Omar Fateh is not one to bet on. He's like, we want to give houses to these people first. That means your taxes are going to go up. We're not going to heavily just tax the rich. You are going to be paying for these shelters where we're going to have these mental patients come in who, once again, don't know how to take care of them. They don't get jobs. They are living in open air drug markets. But we want to pay for these nice condos that are going to be paid for by your hard-earned money, and then you're going to watch them tear up this public housing unit, and you're going to be like, wow, that was a good couple million to throw at people who still haven't done anything with themselves. I'm sorry, but that's kind of true. Anyways, the candidates face off tonight in their final debate on NYC 1 at 7 p.m. Expect fireworks on housing, hate, and the White House. Guys, they're going to cover Trump like it's the only thing that exists. Early voting kicks off this weekend. Whoever wins inherits 8.8 million New Yorkers, a $110 billion budget, and Trump's wild card of, we're going to send people into the cities. Stay tuned, people. This is your NYC election pulse. But in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump to the ad break because I've had enough talking about New Yorkers. They probably don't even listen to my show. I'm not even gonna lie to you. These are a bunch of cornheads. You know what I mean? The people in the Midwest are the people listening to me. Anyways, they're my people. I love them. Folks, everyone these days is looking for one thing and one thing only: job security. With AI on the rise and the job market shoddy, folks are looking for new ways to shore up their Roth IRA with steady employment. That's why my friends at Blue Collar Industries are here to help. Let's get real, kids. You're not going to get paid by Morphe to try out a pallet. And boys, Bass Pro Shop is not looking to have you promo their fishing gear on Insta. Get real and get a job. From apprenticeships to online trade schools, reject the lie that your parents told you for higher education. You want to be like that guy, some jacked AC repairman, or you want to come to a corporate office like me and cheat on your mother? Don't wait, people. These jobs are opening up fast thanks to our friendly neighborhood ICE agents. Let's prove these are jobs that Americans can still do. Head to Blue Collar Industries today and give them all of your dreams in exchange for a little bit of cash. All right, folks, we're going to do a global spotlight. We're going to hop over the pond because our next story, it doesn't take place here in America. It takes place over the pond. It's the morning after Diwali. That's the vibrant Hindu festival of lights celebrated by over 2.5 folks here in the United States. There's fireworks and whatnot. It's kind of like their 4th of July. Not quite, but it's probably the easiest thing I can compare it to for Americans to understand. But over in New Delhi, the city of 33 million people, they just woke up to a toxic hangover. Air pollution is so bad, it's choking the streets. And from an American lens, it's not just a far-off headline, it's a wake-up call to how cultural joy clashes with climate reality. Because, folks, I'm sure you've woken up on the 4th of July. You know what I mean? It's a little smoggy. It's not... We don't go hard, I admit. Like, if you're up at the lake lighting off fireworks, if you're, like, you know, in a field somewhere, I'm sure that the smog isn't that bad. But once you're in a city, people are lighting this shit off in their backyards. And by the way, it's illegal. Within city limits, people still light off fireworks within Fargo's city limits. You cannot be firing them off in your backyard. But people just have, like, M whatevers, and they drop them in the tube, and then they go... and they shoot, and then they pop in the air, and it's huge. And they rain shrapnel all over the children. Anyways, let's paint a picture here, because the visuals from Delhi is like last night I was shocked. If you want to see these videos, swap the neon that normally coats that city for this gray-brown soup you can just taste. New Delhi's air index quality, or AQI, is a handy metric that we use in order to measure it. In order to measure air quality, know how polluted shit is. It rocketed to 350 citywide on Tuesday morning, deep in the very poor zone, with hotspots like Ananda, Vihar, and Warizabad, spiking to severe over 400 PM 2.5 and PM 2.5 particles. These are tiny killers that can slip into your bloodstream, hitting 1,800 micrograms per cubic meter in bursts. For scale, the World Health Organization caps the safe daily limit of PM 2.5 at 15. Anything over 300 screams emergencies, like stay indoors, masking up like it's 2020 again. Swiss trackers like IQ Air dubbed Delhi the planet's most polluted major city Wednesday, outpacing Lahore and our own gridlocked LA. On a bad day, visibility wise, the foggy mist was like 200 meters at the very most, turning communities like the vehicular Marco Polo and historic spots like the India Gate vanish, making it vanish into a mirage. I'm not even lying. It was these videos that you're seeing on social media. It looks like the end of the world. You see that the streets are coated in clouds. It looks like everything just came down overnight. Anyways, the smog kicked off Monday night, Diwali proper on October 20th, when families lit lamps in honor of prosperity and good over evil. But the real culprits were fireworks. Despite the Supreme Court tweak just weeks ago allowing green crackers billed as 30% less dirty with less barium and other shit that it throws into the atmosphere than our traditional fireworks, bursts went rogue past 8 to 10 p.m. curfew, pumping sulfur oxides, nitrogen dioxide, and heavy metals into the mix. Up to 70% PM spike post-midnight, and the worst in over 5 years. It's not solo, though. Autumn's cooler temps, to like 23 Celsius, the warmest in ages, plus calm winds created a devastating layer that just absolutely... Like, listen... You've seen London in that one episode of The Crown when the fog descends over it, and it's just like, you know, it's the pea soup is the common term that the English use to refer to it. That is exactly what was happening over in Delhi. I personally am not a celebrator of Diwali. I'm not a celebrator of the Festival of Lights. I think it's great that they do that. I think that there's better ways to do it than creating a health risk to your city. There's a lot of finger pointing, obviously, as you could assume. BJP's New Delhi chief, Rekhi Gupta, lobbied to ease the 5-year firecracker ban, pitching tradition meets eco-balance, but critics slammed the vote for Hindu nationalists, floating the WHO guidelines we as Americans cite in trade talks. Opposition from AAP and Congress cry foul with irresponsible pandering, with one MP tweeting, invisible accountability while lungs turn black. Even Pakistan's Punjab jumped in, blaming Indian blasts for their AQI creep to 320. If you don't know, Pakistan is relatively close. Like, they're literally right on the border with these folks. So I would understand. This is like America, when every time that the Canadians decide to start a fire and then they pollute our cities for the next couple weeks. I still get mad every time that Canada does it. I know that they don't mean to, but whatever. The takeaway for the states, guys, 1, empathy over eye rolls. Let's do our best to if you have a Hindu American who celebrated Diwali, say, hey, I'm glad you're here celebrating it. I'm glad you're not choking on smoke over there. That's not ideal. Folks, we're going to keep you updated if this shit doesn't go away, because these people, by the way, they're expected to be coded in this for a few days. This is with the wind patterns are not helping them in any regards. Be happy that we don't go this hard in America. Be satisfied with the fact that we light off a few fireworks and then we're good. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Excellent. We're moving on. The rapid fire section of today's headlines, people. Welcome to the rapid fire section. I grabbed like 9 or 10 of today's headlines, and I want to throw them at you because I feel like they're interesting and they're worth talking about. Peru's president declares a state of emergency in Lima as violence surges. Jose Heri, Peru's new interim president, declared a 30-day state of emergency in the capital of Lima and neighboring Cayo, in response to sharp increase in homicides, extortion, and public order protests. Under the measure, soldiers may be deployed alongside the police in certain areas. I wonder who he's getting inspiration from there. That's kind of cool. Historic Preservation Group urges pause of the White House East Wing demolition amid the ballroom construction plans. Enough. Guys, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. The ballroom looks nice, and he's paying with it with his own money. I'm tired of people going like, "Oh, we have so many issues." Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Stop bringing up the ballroom. If Obama did this, by the way, guys, and he was funding it with him and Bill Gates' money, I would have been absolutely fine with it. The ballroom is gonna be nice. The ballroom is gonna be beautiful, and sure, there's gonna be like, I don't know. It's going to cost a lot of money, but it's not going to be your money, so I don't understand why we're bitching about it. I'm going to be honest with you. The National Trust for Historic Preservation has sent a letter asking that the administration of Donald Trump to halt the demolition of part of the East Wing of the White House until full public review is done, warning that the proposed 90,000 square foot ballroom annex may overwhelm the White House itself. Okay, sure. Have that concern. They've had this on the books. They've had this planned out for months. If you really, really, really wanted it not to happen, you would have been fighting it from day one. But I haven't been seeing that. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't know. Maybe he'll invite the Obamas back. Maybe when Michelle becomes president. And you know what I mean? When Big Mike becomes president. Oh my God. Can you guys imagine when the Epstein files are released and Big Mike is revealed? I won't even be mad if it's impressive. If Big Mike is like actually Big Mike, who would be mad? Tell me that you would not still vote for Michelle Obama if she turned out to be Big Mike. I would. I love her energy. Her arms make us all feel safe. Federal raid in New York City's Chinatown leads to protest of immigration enforcement and vendor arrests. On the 21st of October, 2025, agents from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, U.S. Border Patrol, and other federal offices carried out an enforcement operation in Manhattan's Chinatown, targeting street vendors alleged to be selling counterfeited goods. The raid sparked large protests of bystanders and vendors, some arrests, and criticism that tactics were heavy-handed. I don't understand. I can understand if you're like a white lady who's buying fake Louis from these people, and you're like, oh man, I knew it was fake, but damn it, now I can't go to brunch now because my girls are gonna know that my Michael Kors is fake. I can't bring it out in the rain. You know what I mean? This is gonna hurt us. This is not going to be good for us. The fake Gucci district of every city exists, by the way. There's fake Louis Vuitton, there's fake designer everywhere, and it's mostly coming from China. So, white ladies around the world, and some black ladies, any race of ladies, and some men, because some of us like handbags, you know what I mean? This is a big slam for all of us who enjoy handbags. Listen. If you want to go ahead and buy a $2,000 Louis Vuitton bag that's real, go for it, dipshit. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go trust Ling Ling because they know how to put it together. They know how to get you know how Louis Vuitton, you know how the seams will go together perfectly in the design. They know how to mimic it perfectly. And this is not an exaggeration. They will give you the little envelope on the string inside. They'll give you the little like fake piece of paper saying that it's legit. These people know what they're doing. So guys, I'm just going to say it. As long as Santee Alley in LA is still good and it's still being run by people overseas, I'm good. Keep it safe, keep it secret, keep it safe. I feel like Gandalf. I'm gonna go to my illegal immigrant Chinese communities and I'm gonna say, your fake designer shit is keeping America running. Keep it keep yourselves secret, keep it safe. Man arrested after crashing vehicle into the White House security gates. Serious security breach being reviewed. A man drove his vehicle into the security gate of the White House and was arrested by the United States Secret Service. The incident raises serious questions about perimeter security and how such a breach occurred. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover this because guys, it wasn't me, I swear. Why? I'm curious how far you thought you were going to get. There was at least everybody else, and I'm gonna make another Crown reference. If you're an older like female, or if you're like a guy who loves history, you're loving this right now because I'm talking about The Crown. That one episode where the Queen, and this is a true story, the Queen had some guy break into the Buckingham Palace, and she woke up in the middle of the night. She was like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And then he proceeded to talk to her. She never revealed what he said, obviously. He, I don't believe, ever talked very much about the incident or what they talked about. But The Crown recreated that episode, and I thought it was one of my favorites. But I'm curious if this was one of those cases where I think that, listen, if you guys want a seat with Donald Trump, if you guys really want to say hi, sneak into his bedroom at night. And sit in the chair across from him, and then have that Queen Elizabeth moment. Guess what? If you're not violent, his supporters might think that you're awesome. They might be like, one of us got in and had a seat to seat with him. You might be invited to the next, I'm not even gonna lie, the next State of the Union. This great gentleman, or woman, I don't know, it could be a female. They're sneakier. This great female, she snuck into my bedroom late at night and let me know that I was fucking a lot of people over. I feel great. I feel like a new rejuvenated man. I think that maybe I'm not encouraging this. I'm not encouraging you break into the White House. I'm encouraging that if you do it smart. Have a nice, peaceful conversation, and then maybe you can get through to him. Maybe that's the approach. I'm not officially endorsing this. This is disgusting. Don't ram the security gate. That's not a great idea. Stay away from the Trump administration. Keep trying to talk to him on Twitter. Speaking of the Trump administration, they're taking aggressive military posturing towards Venezuela because of drug operations. The administration of Donald Trump is ramping up its direct action and signaling a stronger military posture towards Venezuela, citing narcotics trafficking and the regime of Nicolas Maduro. The move underscores heightened tensions in the region. We're talking about this once again because we blow up their little boats. We're doing all that kind of stuff. I absolutely do believe that Venezuela is a failed state. I think that it's on its way to failing. You know what I mean? If you have a dictator who's eating empanadas on state TV, but he's trying to do it when the fucking cameras turn off, but he eats one right in front of people, not knowing that they did a cutaway. I don't know. It's a little Kim Jong-il. It's a little Kim Jong-un. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's these people are starving. The Maduro diet. If you don't know about the Maduro diet, I don't know if you know enough about Venezuela. J.D. Vance says ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is, quote, going frankly better than I expected. Okay. I really trust him. I want to get a bobblehead. I have a collection of bobbleheads on my desk over here of all of the presidents. Not all of them. I have John Adams, John F. Kennedy, Nixon, Reagan, Bill Clinton, and then all going up from there. I would like to get George H.W. Bush next, but I'm not even going to lie to you. These people that make these bobbleheads, these are royal bobbleheads. They have a J.D. Vance one, and I'm so confident that I think he's going to be the next president that I think I'm just going to buy it straight up. I think I'm going to buy it just because I want to add it to the lineup. I want to be really early on this. I think that Donald Trump is going to elect J.D. Vance to be his successor. I'm 100% positive about this, as a matter of fact. I'm calling it right now. J.D. Vance is going to be the ticket. He's going to be the pick for Republican nominee. Anyways, Senator J.D. Vance, let's talk about his comment. He commented publicly that the current ceasefire or pause between Israel and Hamas is performing better than expected, indicating his assessment of the diplomatic progress despite worldwide and widespread criticism. Sure, he can say whatever he wants. I'm glad that everybody... Hamas and Israel, by the way, for as many violations, apparently there's already over 40 of them that they've counted, they're still managing to keep this pretty peaceful. They're still managing not to fire more rockets. I mean, they did kill some more people, but they didn't... Listen, they're still moving. They're still moving forward, and if J.D. Vance wouldn't lie to us. He's the hillbilly elegy. I don't know what to say here. I think that hopefully it does go better than we expect. I know that within the next few years we might have another flare up in the region, but I don't know. Whatever. Islamophobia controversy erupts in Sequia capital after internal remarks prompt partners' resignation and industry-wide debate. Allegations of Islamophobic comments with venture capital firm Sequia Capital have sparked the resignation of member and ignited broader concerns across the tech finance industry about culture, diversity, and inclusion. Islamophobia is a complicated one there. If this is just straight up hatred of Islam, if they're just like, I don't know, saying, I'm not a big fan of Islamic people or Muslims. That sounds very much like Islamophobia, and that rightly has a right to be called out. Islamophobia, though, in the sense of having an issue with the doctrines of Islam, I don't feel as though that's Islamophobia. That's like saying that's like saying because I have issues with the Christian Bible, I'm a Christian phobe. I'm a Christianophobia, or whatever it's called. I'm not scared of Christians, and I'm not scared of Islamic people. I just question their doctrine they choose to live by. I don't know what that... if these are comments, and I doubt they were because this prompted a partner's resignation. If these were comments relating to just critiques of Islam or critiques of the doctrine of the Quran, sure, I have no issue with that. I'm sure that I might get some heat for that. I'm sure I might get some heat for the fact that I don't agree with the doctrines of Islam. I'm sure I might get some heat for the fact that I don't agree with the doctrines of Christianity. But whatever, if people are losing their companies for this, I'm gonna go out and say it. I'm not an Islamophobe. I just don't know why we got to make women wear the thing. I mean, apparently they like it. According to a lot of them, at least, according to the other countries, they like it. Otherwise, they're like, my mother's worn this. My mother before her wore this. Donald Trump did that awesome bit where he was like, wouldn't it be great if you could just do wah and you were done? No makeup. I'm ready, dear. I don't know. I kind of agree with that, where it's like, okay, if they want to wear the niqab, if they want to wear the cover up, sure, that's fine. But I just have an issue with it personally. So, yeah, I also have an issue with the no women driving. Their culture has a lot of things where I don't totally agree with them. I don't find that to be Islamophobic. I find that to be just a critique of culture. There's nothing wrong. Let's get this very straight and very clear. There's nothing wrong with critiquing cultures, especially when they can result in barbaric actions and practices. A lot of people will tell you this. There is no uncivilized culture. There is no uncivilized people. There are only different cultures. That is not agreeable. That is not true. There are absolutely savage cultures. There are people and ideas that are long-standing in this world because they are animalistic and truly anti-human. So you can take that however you'd like. You can whatever you want, but that's just how I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it how it is. Because, folks, we have one more headline that we got to get to. Africa-based rebel group M23 loots $70 million in gold, increasing the instability in Cameroon and Madagascar's youth protests. A rebel group, M23, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, reportedly looted approximately US $70 million US in gold, that's a better way to put it, contributing to the heightened regional instability. Meanwhile, in countries like the Cameroon, tensions are elevated ahead of the elections. In Madagascar, youths are rejecting a newly appointed prime minister in growing protests. One thing you're going to learn really quickly about Gen Z is they're never happy with anything. These people were calling it the Gen Z protest. People were calling it the Gen Z movement, the Gen Z. They're really showing that they care. They don't care about anything. They care about tearing things down. They care about having something to do on the weekend, and they're never happy with building anything. Or at least the majority of the Zoomer, or I should say the Doomer spirit, is not anything meaningful to once they threw in another candidate, by the way, most of these governments that you're seeing get overturned and then be decided on by Discord, these fuckers are so idiotic and they don't understand systems around them to the point where they'll start infighting with their own groups. They'll be like, I don't like who we chose for prime minister, I'm gonna go start another group. They're never going to be happy, and they're always going to want to tear the things around them down, because they honestly, these Gen Z protests are not fully Gen Z protests. They're anarchist protests. They are people who do not believe in the system of government. They're people who believe that government limits people. They're people who believe that government is not meant to be instilled over human beings. They are, to the fullest extent, anti-civilizationists. They are anti anything that makes this world work around us. Whatever. If that's who people want to support and they want to get behind the youthful energy, tearing down governments of Madagascar, tearing down governments of the Cameroon, okay, support that, absolutely. But when they come for you, when they're in your country, when they're on the steps of your capital, I don't want to hear nothing. Those are people practicing their freedom of speech, apparently. Those are Gen Z just making the change, not waiting for it. That's called being ridiculous. That's called, whatever. That's called wanting to tear down everything around you without learning. Anyways, I'm not in favor of these protests, if you can't already tell. You know what I mean? Whatever. Pastor in Detroit is facing major backlash for publicly commenting on the size of tithes and offerings. Okay, folks, we're going to jump into our final story, because I saw this one and it gave me a little giggle. I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't care that much about this story. I'm not going to lie to you. It's just how funny it is to me. You're tuned in today to hear about things that matter in the world. You're here to listen to me talk about the Middle East. You're here to listen to me talk about shit that's in India. You're here to listen to me talk about smog. You're not here to hear me talk about pastors, because quite frankly, I try to leave religion out as much as I can. If it relates in any way to the stories that are being discussed, I will not turn from it in any sort of way. I'll meaningfully comment on it every time. I don't know how many of you have been to tithes and offerings. I've been to a church, which means that any opportunity. It's Lutherans, it's Catholics, it's those non-denominationals. It's every one of them. It's all of them you'll sit down for Sunday service, and then they will pass around this little plate, and it has money in it, and you can't take from it. That's not your money. I know, it's very confusing. They pass you the gold plate, and then you, as an independent citizen, are expected to place money into it. I never did when I was younger. I was always given money by my grandparents, and I always saved it for myself. Because fuck that. I'm sorry, these people live in a nice enough building. The pastor seems well off, whatever his name is. In the church, the floors creak. But that's a building! That's a building! Do you really need the floors to be made of marble to preach the word of God? Do you really need a fully whatever? You know what I mean? People used to preach in barns. People used to preach in places that were meaningful. And now fucking super pastors are standing up on the stage doing backflips with fucking, like, Mary Poppins rigs so that can, like, lift them in the air. Anyways, this week, a video clip from a local church in Detroit made waves online. It shows Pastor Marvin Winans, a well-known gospel singer and leader of Perfecting Church in Detroit, publicly correcting a woman during a live service on how much she gave. The woman had come forward to donate $1,235, saying she was, quote, giving in faith. But the pastor stopped her mid-sentence and responded, quote, that's only $1,200. That's not what I asked you to do. I said 1,000 plus 1,000. That moment, captured on video, sparked immediate backlash. Critics accused the pastor of publicly shaming the donor. Many questioned the church on why they would pressure anyone in such a very vulnerable and moment, and also on such a specific amount, especially in a city like Detroit where money can be tight. I'm not even going to lie to you. Let's understand what's going on here, folks. I'm going to play the video for you right now so that you know that I'm not pulling this out of my ass. I'm not saying it out of nowhere. We're going to go ahead and we're going to review this because I want to.
I, Roberta McCoy, give in faith and stand in unity with the vision of Perfecting Church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000,
Okay. Well, I'm going to work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
What? Okay. To understand this moment, you need to know who Pastor Marvin Winans is. Winans. Pastor Marvin Winans. He's not just a pastor. He's part of a legendary Winans gospel family, a Grammy-winning musician, and a longtime leader of Perfecting Church, a congregation known for its size, influence, and ambition in the Detroit area. For nearly 20 years, Pastor Winans has been trying to build a massive megachurch cathedral in Detroit, near Woodward Avenue and 7 Mile. The original vision? A 4,200-seat sanctuary with all the trimmings, but despite groundbreaking years ago, the building was never completed. In fact, by 2023, the city of Detroit sued the church and Winans, calling the property an eyesore and a public nuisance. The site reportedly had overgrown weeds, broken fences, and rodent problems. The legal statement gave the church a new deadline to finish construction, and the recent Day of Giving was part of the push to raise the necessary funds. This also wasn't the first time Winans has drawn controversy over finances. A former employee sued him at the church, saying she was fired for failing to tithe from her paycheck. She claimed that she had to give back part of her $18,000 salary pay due to kitchen dues and cover rent on the homes that the church owned. The lawsuit was dismissed, but the story added to the public's concerns. Now in this video, with a pastor interrupting a woman, giving over $1,200 and saying it wasn't enough. It's reignited the debate. That's one way to say it. Where's the line between a giving heart and being pressured to give more? I'm going to be honest with you folks. I've seen, and this is really sad, because I've seen the way that religion can get into these people's heads. It can really make them feel like, wow, this pastor really needs my money. This pastor really needs this church. Dude, it looks like it's in disarray. I'm sorry. Every church in Minnesota looks like it's in disarray. Every church has been there since it was built in the 20s. Your grandparents were going there with their grandparents. Like, they were forced to go there. It's just a tradition. The idea that you need to be passing money to these people. They are funded perfectly fine. They do not need any more of your offerings. I'm sorry. You go to church in order for them to give you something, not to give them something. And I'm sorry if that's a selfish way to look at it. But I'm not going to any church because I am in a giving mood. I'm sorry. That's just not... Tell me the last time you went to church not to make yourself feel better. Tell me the last time you went to church not to get the enjoyment out of confession or to relieve your soul in some meaningful way. It's all self-serving. It's all therapy. This boils down to my overall theory that therapy is a type of religion, just a new type of religion that we all, for some reason, there's a priesthood of people where it's like, they'll tell you this mental illness that you have that really we haven't been able to find in the brain, so there's no actual meaningful evidence that it exists, but it's a set of symptoms that we've been able to set on certain people, and we're able to find it, but certain neurological conditions are unexplainable, and certain things, BPD is one of the most misdiagnosed things out in the world. You know what I mean? It's like there is a new priesthood of people who will tell you that you have diseases, people who will tell you that you have situations, when they don't even know the cause of why you're feeling this way. They don't even understand themselves. They're just telling you this is what the books say of the people who also don't even really understand it. Priesthood has evolved. We don't go to the church anymore to have someone pray over us to fix our problems. We go to a therapist and then have them tell us some pseudo-therapy bullshit about how your feelings are important, about how you matter, and about how you need to center yourself, and about how you need to find meaning in your own life. That is what religion is. Religion is a way for people to find meaning in their life. It's a way for people who are lost, who have very little, to turn themselves around, for them to find light in the dark. And you know how I've had that, how I've had that described to me before? It's the exact same way I've had people who go to therapy describe therapy. The same people, by the way, that go to therapy, but they're like, I hate Christianity. I think that Christianity is evil. I think that the Church of Christ has nothing good to give, and I just think that people should go to therapy. They're neglecting the fact that the majority of what therapy used to be was churches. The majority of people who had mental illnesses in the past, the only people they had in their community to go to was church. I'm sorry, but churches as a therapeutic device for the ailing mind of people where, we don't have access to talk therapists. The closest thing you have is your pastor. That was the first form of therapy. This latest version is just more appealing. You don't have to show up and talk about your connection to Christ. You can talk about your star sign. You don't have to talk about your connection to the story of Josiah, the stories of Moses. You don't have to connect it back. You don't even have to know very much. All you have to know is these terms that people tell you that you have. Anyways, folks, Pastor Winanes has not been accused of criminal wrongdoing, but at this moment, it's become a large symbol of concerns around megachurches, money, and power. So whether you're part of a faith community or just watching from the outside, the big question is, what does generosity look like in a place of worship? And who sets the terms? Anyways. Folks, if you're going to church anytime soon, if you continue to donate, do your donating. That's pretty great, but just realize that they probably don't even need it. They probably don't even need it. They're probably perfectly well funded. They're not on the brink of falling apart like many people say they are. That church has been there since 1920, buddy. It's not going anywhere. Pastor Ronald Ryerdy is not going anywhere. His son before him and his son before him will be teaching or whatever. Anyways, my point is these institutions aren't going anywhere. They've been the institution that people turn to for centuries, and they're going to be for centuries more. They don't need your private donating. The Pope gives them all the money that they do need. Anyways, that's a joke. Folks, I think that was a great day of news. I think that was a wonderful day of discussing some of the bullshit that's been going on. As you know, we're going to be back at it again tomorrow. It was a wonderful Wednesday, October 22nd. I can't believe we're already making it halfway through the week. But if you enjoyed today, please subscribe. Like it if you liked it. There's a fucking cop going by my house right now. Do you hear that? That is loud as shit. Anyways, I'm recording right now. Anyways. Whatever. Did you guys hear that bullshit? That was ridiculous. Anyways, I had a wonderful time discussing the news with you guys. I'm definitely going to have more to discuss with you tomorrow. Trust me, we have some editorials coming down the pipeline. We have some more shit that's just going to be fun to say. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, like it, do whatever you do. But in the meantime, this has been your Brain on Air with Ollie Vogt Larson. Thank you all so very much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.